how did you meet? Out of curiosity, you both were in the sandwich years. I'm squeezed, I'm blessed, but I'm single.
I was in my first marriage.
Okay.
I'd had the 4 kids, and we'd outgrown the house, put the house up for sale that we were currently living in, had a lot of showings on the weekend, and someone had brought an inspector with them. They'd cracked the tile in the kitchen, and I called a real estate agent, extremely upset, and he said, "Don't worry, I have someone." And that someone was Mark. I went through this process of going through the sandwich years, dealing with my mom, also going through my own struggles of having gone through a divorce and restarting life with the kids. Just, after that journey, 4 years on my own, my friends that kept saying, "Oh, you need to get back into the dating scene." Opened up my phone and there was Facebook dating. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to give this a try. There's got to be somebody out there. Changed the settings and then Mark popped up. And I saw his picture and I was like, nope. Swipe, swipe, swipe.
You swiped left on Mark?
Many times, actually. He kept coming up.
Hello, everyone. And guess what? We're back with another Sandwich Years. And for those of you watching or listening for the very first time, Sandwich Years is about taking care of your top one, where you're taking care of some sort of aging relative, potentially your parents, your aunts, uncles, maybe even your siblings. And you're also taking care of the bottom bun, which are some of your kids, could be aunts, nieces, nephews. We throw in some fur babies because we know the fur babies cannot be left home alone. And so you're the one in the middle, and we call that squeezed and blessed. And so today we have a special edition where we have 2 people, and we'll call them the Larrays. And so over here we have the Larrays, and they're going to tell us how they're in the sandwich years and how they're squeezed and blessed. So if you can introduce yourselves, we'll start with Mark first and then over to the lady, or we can start with Sue first. Up to you.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
I'll be a gentleman.
If you can introduce yourself, tell everybody how you're squeezed and blessed, just a little bit of your family dynamic, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I am Sue Larray, and I want to say that I was squeezed and blessed because I had my mom, my elderly mom, that lived about 5 minutes away from me. She suffered from mental illness and she was aging, and I was regularly going and taking care of her while raising 4 children. So,
okay. And at that time, single mom?
I was single mom, yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yes, yeah.
And working corporate as well?
Working corporate, full-time job, yeah.
And so it was those meetings where you're like, someone's calling me. I have to figure out how to answer the phone. And you didn't know if it was the school calling you or if it was the your parents calling you.
Yeah, a lot of times I knew it was her calling, and I can't take the call because I'm in the middle of a meeting. So there was that. And then every weekend it was at mom's house with the kids, taking the kids. So they never really had a full weekend to themselves. I never had a full weekend to myself. So there was a lot of pressure there. Mm-hmm. So I would say I was really squeezed. And then I have an older brother who lives in Ottawa, and it was just me.
It was you. Mm-hmm. You could explain, but living through it again and telling them what's going on is sometimes it's like, really, do I need to tell you what's going on? It's a lot. Yes. So I just don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. It's sharing that experience. Sometimes you're just like, I just have to deal. Either are you coming to help me or do something kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that piece. Mm-hmm. So then Mark, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes. Okay. My name is Mark Larray, and my father lives in Kingston, Ontario, and I'm squeezed and blessed. Mm-hmm. As we have children.
Yeah.
Between both of us, it's 9 children.
Okay. 9. No, which is you know what, 9 is a good number.
Yeah.
9 is a good number. 8 they share off. There's always one odd, so then we'll figure out who gets to hang out with them.
8 is enough, but I don't know. We have 9.
Yeah.
and having a blended family is kind of also why I wanted you on the show. So keep going. So 9 in between. So I think, Sue, you said you were squeezed and blessed. I think you still are, because also we got Mark's dad, who's still kind of also, and from what I understand, and just from the nuances of having a father-in-law, they're just lovely, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're just lovely. You just love them.
Yes,
and they just love you.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know. Do you have any siblings as well, Mark?
I do. Yes.
All boys, girls?
One brother and one sister.
Okay, and so I'm very fortunate. I'm the daughter. he kind of never had. But then I also have a sister-in-law, and he loves us all both. Like,
Oh, lovely.
yeah. But it's just funny because whenever he's with either of us, he tells us we're the favorite. But at the end of the day, we know he loves us both. So
Yeah.
back to your story. So how did you meet? Out of curiosity, because it sounds like you both were in the sandwich years and kind of single, kind of sitting there going, wait a second, I'm in the sandwich years, I'm squeezed, I'm blessed, but I'm single. Mm-hmm. And so how did you meet?
Well, should I tell the story from like the beginning?
Tell the story.
You got 2 minutes, no joke.
I love when she tells the story.
I'll keep it short and sweet, but I was in my first marriage.
Okay.
I'd had the 4 kids, and we'd outgrown the house, needed more space, put the house up for sale that we were currently living in, had a lot of showings on the weekend, and someone had brought an inspector with them because we came home and there were fingerprints everywhere and things were opened and pulled. And so they cracked the tile in the kitchen, I guess from pulling the vent up. And I called the real estate agent extremely upset, saying they've cracked my tiles. And he said, don't worry, I have someone. And that someone was Mark.
Hey.
And that was way back in 2014.
Okay.
And I moved. So, I still sold the house. He came, I saw him that one time, gave me a quote. It was too high, too expensive, but I kept his card.
Okay.
I kept his card, having a contractor's contact in case, with a new home, thought, okay, well, I'll just hold on to the card. And then, I had moved. Eventually went through divorce and was on my own with the kids. And that's fast forward to 2018. And so by myself with the kids, still had his card, went through this process of going through the sandwich years, dealing with my mom, who was, becoming increasingly ill in terms of her mental health, and also going through my own struggles of having gone through a divorce and restarting life with the kids as a single mom. Mm-hmm. And just, after that journey, 4 years on my own, 2022 came around, and 2021, it was around, I think, December of 2021, I was feeling kind of sorry for myself. And my friends, I kept saying, oh, you need to get back into the dating scene, set up an online profile. And I'd opened up my phone and there was Facebook dating, a little icon. I thought, okay, I'm just going to give this a try. There's got to be somebody out there. I'm just looking for a companion, someone to talk to, go out with once in a while. And, changed the settings, and then Mark popped up. And I saw his picture and I was like, nope, swipe.
You swiped left on Mark?
Many times, actually. He kept coming up, but I was just like, why is he on there? And I don't want to have to tell my story. Mm-hmm. And so swipe. And then eventually, he came up again, and I reached out and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, let it be with somebody. I'm going to start a conversation with somebody who kind of know, if you know what I mean? Like, I've met you. It's easy, like, for an opening conversation, which is what I did. And I reached out and I had said that, you'd met me, we'd met through a mutual real estate agent and what's not. And he responded and said, call me later.
But first of all, I was wondering, Facebook said that no one that you are, like, how does she, like, I'm not supposed to know anyone that is on this Facebook thing, right? Yeah. That's a part of the thing. But apparently we weren't friends on Facebook.
So then that's why it was. Because I also was sitting there going, I didn't even know there was Facebook dating.
Yeah.
But because I was like, maybe they made a mistake. But there is Facebook dating.
There is.
There is, which is funny because it was only the 2 days before that when she found me that I actually, it popped up on my phone and I was like, oh.
Oh, so you had just signed up.
Literally just signed up.
So that's the other side of the story. Yeah. It kind of was meant to be, to be quite honest.
Just signed up the Saturday night.
Okay. And did she pop up too?
No, not on the Monday morning, I guess. No, she didn't pop up for me at all. I think
it was always me, yeah. I was always getting his profile, Yeah, and then he said, okay, reach out to me later. We're both working. And I said, okay, but I connected with somebody else. And I forgot about Mark. And then I think a few days later, I was chatting with this other person and I went, oh my gosh, I was supposed to call Mark or message Mark again. And I just never did. Mm-hmm. But that person turned out to be a character. It didn't work out. And then that would have now been January of 2022. He came to mind and I just felt really badly. And I'm like, what if, he thinks I'm this horrible person? And my friend said, hey, it
doesn't hurt. Like, reach out.
Yeah, just say hi.
Yeah.
So reached out to him. And we messaged. He said he'd been looking for me. He wondered what had happened.
Because you didn't accept the quote. He's like, that quote got jacked up after so many years.
Yeah.
I'm sure the quote was a little higher, wasn't it?
Well, it was more because back in November of 2021, after that first message back and forth and me saying, I will contact you. And then I just disappeared. And then it wasn't until 2 months later where I reached out saying, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
In 2022. And then he just kept saying, I was looking for you. I even restarted my phone. And then we had a phone conversation, our first phone conversation, and maybe a couple days later. And we talked right through the night.
It was 9 hours and 20 minutes.
9 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just tip for those who are single in the sandwich years.
Yeah.
What would it be? If you each had a tip, what would it be? What would your tip be to somebody who's single in the sandwich years?
Yeah.
Because you were.
Yeah.
What would you be? Like, I think for Sue, what I'm hearing is just try. Like,
just
after a couple, like, even if you had that connection, like, I mean, you didn't have to call him, but you're like, let me just try. Like, the worst he could do is like, you never contacted me before, or he could be married already or something. But if you saw somebody, just try it out.
There's nothing to lose. That's what I was told, and it turned out to be exactly that. Just
all gains.
Give it a try. You're starting a conversation. And in a way, it's almost like introducing yourself back. It's like a test to get back into conversation and getting it, like restarting your social life.
Okay.
And you can't do that unless you just try.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so in the sandwich years, you're taking care of everybody else. This is a little bit of taking care of you, finding a companion that you can have a conversation with.
Yeah. Yeah, because the kids, I started to feel like, Friday night I'm sitting there watching TV by myself because the kids are now getting to that age where they're gaming together. They're connecting with their cousins online. The older kids were starting to go out with their friends, and I'm by myself. I mean, we did family nights and things like that, but there are still evenings where I'm alone, and I just wanted an adult to talk to.
which is exactly it. Like, it's that loneliness.
Yeah.
And so the solution for the loneliness is to maybe go find somebody.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a marriage.
Exactly.
Like you got lucky.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, both of you got lucky, right?
Yeah.
But it could just be a companion or a friend.
Yeah.
And having that companion and friend is great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mark, what advice would you give somebody in the sandwich years?
Yes.
That is kind of sitting there going dating, because I mean, if you just tried it and you locked out quick, what would you say?
Which is funny because I wasn't even necessarily, as I said, I was watching a movie. I just trying, when you pick up your phone every couple minutes while watching TV, and it's just the little heart on the Facebook thing, it appeared. But I would agree with Sue. Just try. Just go for it. We just engaged in conversation and we just started talking. That was really it.
One of the lovely things about finding love again is that you might have changed a bit, and you get to reintroduce yourself to each other and to yourself, right?
Yes, and I think also at this stage, you have a better understanding of who you are as a person and what you want in another person, or who you're willing to spend your time with. And so I had a list.
So ladies, make a list. Males, you can make a list as well.
Mark did too.
I had a list.
Yeah.
You had a list too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this list was developed before you started looking?
We actually one night had a conversation about having the list, and then we read our lists off to each other, and we check marked everything that was on the list. It matched.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
I forgot about that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? If anything, you're feeling the loneliness, make some lists of things that you're willing to have and things that you're not willing to have.
Absolutely.
And it will come to fruition.
Yeah.
But you got to make it come to fruition. Like, you got to do the steps and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get hurt. Like you said, you met this other dude and he wasn't up to snuff. And actually, you put some more stuff on your list.
Yeah,
then you're
exactly.
like, not dealing with this, not dealing with this.
Yeah.
But put yourself out there and it will come.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is fulfilling because now you are a unit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's a lovely story, and thank you for sharing that. And so now we have a unit. We have 9 kids between the two of you. And now we're taking care of the top bun together and the bottom buns.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the loss of your mom, and I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
There's a lot of grief there.
There is, yeah.
And so it doesn't go away. And I say that with all kindness. Some days it's very strong. And some days you might smile and laugh because you're like, oh, Mom, like some of those things. And I can say that because I know.
Yeah.
But just how do you help her through the grief? Like, how do you help her deal with some of the memories that have? Or I don't know if you sometimes just find yourself in tears. Do you?
I do. Yeah. Random things will cause me to have a memory, and it'll trigger that memory, and then I'll cry, or I'll just be doing something and she'll come to mind, and I start tearing up and things like that. But
which is all natural. And I go through it as well. I sit there, songs that never hit me hit me a certain way, and I was like, I used to love this song, and now I'm tearing. And so first and foremost, how do you deal, and then how do you help her? How do you deal?
How do I deal? Well, when I'm missing her voice, luckily enough, I do have some of her voicemails that are still saved on my phone, and I'll listen to those voicemails. I've kept birthday cards and other cards she's given me that are handwritten. Go back and read those, and songs that she liked. I'll listen to those sometimes when I'm cooking in the kitchen. That was something she always did. She had her music on, and I'll do that as well too. And yeah, and sometimes we just chat. We'll talk about a memory or something she said,
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day. Like, there's not a day that goes by. I don't think that there's a mention of her,
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do I support? Like, I just, I only was with her for a short time before she passed. By the time we got married and everything like that,
But she was at the wedding.
And
no,
well, unfortunately,
that's
not.
part of the story also.
Yeah, because she became ill and was not able to come to the wedding. So she was there in mind and spirit, but unfortunately not in body. I may tear up on this now because we became close, and not one day goes by that I don't think about her. And even hear her voice. And sometimes I do, because I picked up her voice pretty well. That I would say things and like, that's my mom. But just being there for Sue and for the children also, because so that's where, for me, I was fairly new coming into the family, right? So there is that getting adjusted to children, the life, all of that blending, and then Mom got ill, and then she eventually passed. So it's being that support for them and for Sue at the same time, while still trying to be that example, be all the things of a new relationship.
So how did you do it? Like, did you prioritize things? Did you sit there and go, you know what, the kids come first, so I gotta, because also, how do I say this, some of your own emotions you kind of have to put to the back seat when you have kids. And so sometimes, for me at least, I didn't want them to see me cry. Yeah. So I would go into another room to cry. Yeah. And then later on, sometimes I couldn't ride. Like, I'd be driving and I'm crying and I'm sitting there going, okay. And then my daughter would be like, Mom, why are you crying? And I was like, because this song kind of hit me in a different way. And I had to explain it to her. Yeah. And I said, if you can't talk to me, Grandpa's there. Please call the grandpa. Dad is there. Like, if you don't feel that you can talk to me because I'm emotional, but like you kind of put yourself to the side. That's kind of what Sandwich Years is about parenting and just putting your own emotions to the side. So is that kind of how you
so I would often ask, how are you doing?
Okay.
To each of the children, and especially to Sue, how are you doing?
Okay, you check in. Checking
in, constant check-ins, and then be very sensitive and cognitive of certain things, certain, they were my priority, all of them, because that was a difficult time, and they were very close. The children were very close to their grandmother, right? So,
It was challenging because when you think about the timelines, and we waited. So when Mark and I started dating, would have been January of 2022. He didn't meet the kids until June. So, and he met my mom in June. So we waited 6 months.
Well, you want to make sure it's real.
Exactly.
And also, when you're in a relationship, when you start inviting people in, it's not, how do I say, it's not really your own relationship. Everybody gets involved.
That's right.
And they're like asking about, and it's just like, no, I kind of want to incubate for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you want to keep it incubated for as long as you possibly can and make sure that it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so
there's that timeline, and then when you think about it, as Mark said, it was really, really short. So it wasn't on, I guess, well, we got married in April of 2023. My mom passed in June. She passed like not even 2 months later.
Yeah.
So he only had that span of time, I would say, from, there was like 6 or 7 months in between where they were now getting to know each other, and he was coming over and spending time. And then he was taking on a little bit of the responsibilities for me, where he would go and shovel her driveway and things like that. And, take me to the groceries to get her groceries every weekend and stuff. So they'd built up that relationship. And so he understood how closeness, how close-knit we were in terms of my mom and the kids and that dynamic. And even my brother, although he's far away, he did come and visit from time to time. So Mark understood that. So when my mom passed, I do remember him sitting us down at the table, all of us, myself and the kids, and saying, you all will grieve differently, because he knew that we're not all going to show our emotions the same way. And then asked us, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And it's okay. This is safe now. Let's talk about this. I'm not going to say it was perfect. I think more for me, because I did have moments where I blew up and I did just cry and bawl. And, he was trying to prevent that from happening, those outbursts. But I couldn't help it because it was just so hard for me.
it's a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And especially too, and how do I say this? You're going through something for the very first time. Like it's one of those things that you can't imagine. I always say my feet were kicked out from me when my mom passed away.
Right.
And then when my dad passed away, he was ready. And so I was already prepared because I already did it with my mom.
Right.
But when you're going through it the first time, it's a roller coaster. And so you said some key things that I love. And for when you have a partner, you just do.
Yeah.
And you just did. Like we need groceries for her. Let's go. Like you just do. And that's what you do when you love somebody. But that's helpful because that's something you remembered. He couldn't remember. He was like, yeah, I think I talked to them. But he didn't remember. I actually went and did groceries with you. If she needed something, I was I was part of the unit.
Yeah.
Like you included him.
Yeah.
And I think some of the messages that I would give to spouses is include your wife, include your husband, include your partner in what's going on, because they're there to help.
And allow them to do that is another key point, because when my mom became ill, we didn't realize that she'd had a series of mini strokes. And so she'd had this persistent cough and was misdiagnosed. She was told it was pneumonia, and she was told it was just a flu and acid reflux. And it wasn't until Mark was the one actually who'd said, bring your mom home to us. Like, we're not leaving, because she lived alone. Although she was 5 minutes away, she was by herself. Yep. And he saw how she was, and he says, no, mom's coming. Like, she's not going to stay home alone. Bring her. And he got up with her, and he got up overnight, and he was taking care of her and looking after her. But then he was realizing, like, she's not getting better, and I'm saying something's wrong here. So called my brother, because we had an arrangement that if she does get ill, he would take care of the hospital business. And so when he came down and he took her to the hospital, they said, oh, we know this cough. It turned out she'd had these series of strokes. And so, there was that piece of it. But Mark, I was working and my mom was in the hospital, I couldn't get to the hospital. So Mark went to the hospital. And allow your spouse or allow your significant other to do those things for you. I mean, I did feel badly that I couldn't be there, but he took that place for me, and he was there to be with her and spend the time with her, and then had the kids going back and forth as well too, right? So it relieved me in some way. Yeah.
And so you said it. You have a partner. Your partner wants to help, ideally. If they don't want to help, there could be more going on. So just be cognizant of that, because they're probably also safeguarding themselves, because they probably can't help.
Yeah.
But allow them. I think that's one of the key things. You don't have to do it alone, and they're part of the unit.
Yes.
And then when you're not part of the unit, when you don't feel included, it's a harder place to be in.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Can I say something? I just realized I'm just listening to you talk, and I thought, because remember I said earlier that I am fairly new to the family, and of course there's that, have to get adjusted. The children have to get, because it's trust. That's a huge deal, especially with what they've been through before. The trust and all that. I was just thinking a while ago, that's the children watching how I interacted with mom and took care of mom probably helped. I literally just had that thought. That probably helped to build that trust with them. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I had another episode where I was talking to another guest, and we were talking, as much as we think they're kids, they're watching.
Oh, yeah.
They're watching how we interact with our parents. They're watching how we deal with grief. They're watching it all. And if we don't actually sort of encompass it or talk to them and allow them to see all of the pieces, they're not growing. And so, I'll be quite honest, when my grandmother passed away, I was pregnant with my daughter. I wasn't living with my mom. I didn't see her cry. I didn't see any of that stuff. So I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea. I knew my grandmother was in the hospital. I got the phone call to say, Granny passed away. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I remember also getting a phone call when she was wandering, because she started I think she had a little form of dementia, and she had left her house and she was wandering, and the cops called us to say, we found your mother, this and that. And I had to tell my mom, and she's like, oh man. And I heard that, but I didn't have to deal with any of that. Our kids are growing up in a world where they're seeing a lot more. And we have to explain to them, because guess who's going to have to take care of us?
Yes, exactly.
They are.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure we have our plans, our wishes, and all of those things. But definitely they were watching how you were caring for their mom.
Yeah.
That means so much more. You're creating, and that loving behavior. One of the things, I don't know, Mark is a coach. He's very emotionally in tune. And I've seen him speak, and I sat there and I was like, you are very, as a coach, you coach on business, but you're also coaching on life, which to me, I'm like, you don't find that often in coaches. Some coaches are just,
yes,
they don't care about your other pieces. You need it together.
Yes,
And so, I mean, you're very fortunate, because the kids they picked up on all of that stuff, and anybody around you picks up on that stuff. So giving you some flowers there, that you are very, very caring. So we now talk about the kids. We talk about the top one of yours, your dad. How's he doing?
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah,
he lives on his own?
He lives on his own.
Okay.
Because my stepmother had passed. So all of this kind of happened fairly. So she passed shortly before, a couple months before.
Yeah.
Gran. Yeah. So I was dealing with helping my dad. Well, we both were. And there it is too. They had just met. So
okay. So they just met. So this all happened at the same time.
Everything was happening.
Yeah.
All at
So
the
your
same time.
stepmom dies.
Passed before we were married.
Before we were married.
So you never met her?
I had
She
met
did.
her
Yeah.
one time.
Oh, okay.
Once.
Yeah.
And was she ill?
She had some issues, but the thing is, she went in for a procedure, and unfortunately, she had a heart attack.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry.
And then that was it, literally that day. So all of that happened all at the same time. So there it was. I was supporting my father, so I would drive down to Kingston. I think I was going every week. Was it at one point?
At one point, early on,
yeah,
we were
early
going
on.
every weekend. Yeah.
Every week, during the week,
check on him and things like that.
With him and the whole well, she didn't know, she was cremated, but just all that whole process.
Because they'd been together 28 years.
They were 28 years.
Oh, wow.
Married. Yeah, they were very close.
Very, very close. Okay, so with your stepmom passing, your dad living away, going back and forth, I think a lot of times people forget when someone passes in a relationship, there's that survivor guilt. Did he have all that?
The survivor guilt?
Did he ever talk about that?
Did he ever talk about his feelings at all?
That's
or
a
no?
good question. He has the survivor guilt? No, I don't think so. He
was he lonely? He was...
he did, yes. He had moments and missing her tremendously, because they were very close.
Yeah.
Right? Extremely close. Yeah, he did the survivor guilt. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I recall going to visit with him shortly after when we went to check in on him. He did talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Being left here still and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, because she was on the life support for a little bit, and then he had to agree to let her go. He had to make that decision, and that was very hard for him.
Okay.
So he had mentioned that. I think that was part of it.
Yeah, in that moment.
So what's he doing now? Like in health-wise, he's doing pretty good?
Very good.
Okay,
He's doing
good.
pretty good.
And does he come and visit the 9 kids?
Yeah, he does.
Come down,
he does. So he still works. So the thing is, he's a for a building, superintendent. But the good thing with that job for him, it keeps him active and connected.
Yes.
So that has helped him through. He has actually talked about that, having the tenants in the building. And the good thing is majority of the tenants are seniors. So
so active and connected.
Yes.
And with potentially some of his peers. And so that's kind of talks to like going to a home as well, active and connected and with your peers, because that will keep him not young, but will keep him engaged.
Yes.
And so that's a good thing. So Dad's is good. He visits. We visit him. Everybody's good. How's the kids now? So blending the kids together, how did that happen? And any advice on that side?
Yeah.
I think it helped because they're of similar age.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was that little bit of hesitation amongst them, because now you're taking two sets of siblings and then you're trying to mesh them together. And as they get together, they're trying to find the similarities and commonalities amongst themselves, which depending on the age, there is a bit of that. It could be a show that they're watching or music that they listen to or something of that nature that connects them. We did do family nights together with them, which helped a bit with integration. So like boxing matches, right? Like, we had boxing nights, and those who had boyfriend or girlfriend were also invited to come over. We did birthday parties. We've had that where they're together doing things like that. So they can get to know each other in that with the fun vibe, the fun environment. So
do you take some of the common ages out together? Like do their age things together? Like, do you take like 2 or 3 of them out and do things like that?
I think, well, initially I had the girls over. We did like a girls' night. They spent the night and that kind of thing. Now the kids, I find
they're older now.
They're doing their own thing.
Since I think past 2 years, it's like the growth spurt hit, and now they've got their friends and they're going and they're doing their things, and we found that they've grown up pretty quickly.
I jokingly said I was at a speaking engagement this past weekend and said I have to book appointments with my children.
Yes,
and that's how I feel sometimes, because they're at that age where they have their own. Some of them have their own cars or drive, working in school. Like they're just girlfriends. You gotta book some time with them. Yeah,
I love it. Well, you know what, and that's being in the sandwich years as well. Our kids are getting older, and they're doing their own thing. So now this lends to how do you make sure you take care of your relationships, and then what do you do for yourself?
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that both of you take care of your relationship?
Yeah. But before you get into that, Chantal, I want to make a point that's really, really important for the audience, is that when it comes to our kids, because for Mark, that is a bit of a challenge, I want to say, because there's so many of them. And I know he carries that with him, this responsibility to make sure that he's there for all of them, regardless of whether some are living with us or they're not. And so he is always in touch with the children, and he is trying to balance time to see them. And for myself, I think that's a good thing. I think that's great that he does that. And I would never stop him from doing that. As is for me, if I say I just want to go out with my daughter and have mother-daughter time, or with one of the boys, there is no issue there. And that's really important because you have to be supportive when there's many, not even many children. It could be 1 or 2, but you have to be supportive of those relationships and respectful of those relationships as well. So I wanted to make that point.
100%. And I think too, parenting by yourself is one thing, because you make the decision and it's done. Parenting as a couple is also very tricky, very hard, challenging, because sometimes you're on 2 parenting scales.
Yes.
And then now parenting kids that are your bonus kids
Mm-hmm.
is another challenging piece, because it's like, hold on, mom doesn't parent us like that, dad doesn't parent us like that.
Right.
So you're dealing with quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And as they get older too, they're also telling you how you should feel or how you should be acting and stuff like that, where you're like, whoa. So a lot. And so you have a lot in the sandwich years with these kids. And I think you both have to give yourselves bonus points, because you're trying and to try to blend them at different ages. Like, what's the range from what to
15 to 25.
15 to 25. That's a lot of different. And anybody who's had kids in that range knows there's different. They're going through different emotions, especially too if there's boys and girls. There's the boys and girls.
Oh, it's a mixture.
It's a mixture. So kudos to you for the 9. And I joke around with 9, but 9 is great if you can manage it and you try to manage it. But you're going to try different styles and figure it out. Sometimes you'll have to pull out one, sometimes you won't, right? And so kudos to you both. Kudos to you, because I'll be honest, we all have some really good kids.
Thank you. Yes.
And so we got to be blessed. We're blessed with some really good kids.
Yes.
We had them from little and we raised them pretty well, and they're just going to do even better.
Yes.
Okay. And I see some of your kids and I see what they're doing, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
So before we sign off, because there's 2 things I need to know. How do you keep your relationship going? Some tips so that people know, you know, when you're married in the sandwich years, what you do, regardless if it's blended family or not, what do you do? And then how do you do it for yourself? So let's go together and then by yourselves.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to talk about together? Cause,
yeah. So together. So there's something for me. I have a rule that I have set for myself to as you know, as Sue's husband, is I have to reach these goals every day, right? And she has to be cared for, heard, acknowledged, respected, and loved.
Okay.
So not necessarily in any of those orders, but it's those 5 things. And I strive for that every day. And it's not work like, okay, hold on, let me see. I did the acknowledgement. Now I got to, no, it's not like that. It's just,
If it was,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's
I'm like,
crazy.
really?
But
Sorry.
but that's really important to me that she does feel all those things as best as I possibly can, right? And so we do spend time together. That's really important to both of us. We make every day. There's not a day that would go by that we don't have time with each other, and that is both together and even when we are away from each other. It's, you know,
texting, phone calls, because you guys are both working and
little
like
things
it's
like
movement, right? And
exactly.
so okay, so you make sure that there's a moment together. An hour. It's not timed. It's just as long as you have a moment sitting down. How was your day?
Time together. It could be at the end of the night, because he's working, I'm working. We text quite frequently.
I think the other day I saw you went for a walk or something.
Yes, last night actually.
Yeah.
I texted him saying I want to go for a walk. Weather's nice. I know he likes the sunshine, and I asked him, he was working on something. I said, can you spare a few minutes and let's go for a walk? And we went out. So I mean, there's intention in some of that, in some of the acts, but in other ways it's not. It's just something that we just make sure that we do. It's really important for us, whether it's to watch a show before we go to bed together,
but
or we're
some
just
last
talking.
moment.
There's just something throughout the day.
Do you have date nights?
Oh yeah. And it doesn't have to be crazy. Sometimes, because we mentioned the 9:20, our 9 hours 20-minute conversation, so we call it our 9:20 date night.
We even have T-shirts.
We have T-shirts that say 9:20. We reference our 9 hours and 20 minutes because that was special for us.
9 hours and 9:20. I missed this. What did you talk about?
Our first phone conversation.
Was 9 hours and 20 minutes.
So then you have the 9:20.
So we have our 9:20. So we'll put it in our calendar, 9:20 date night or a 9:20 night.
So that's your I love it. Okay, that's
and
very
it could just be even at a Tim Hortons. Sometimes we just leave the house and we go out, and it's just time together. It doesn't have to be crazy, or we've gone for long drives and come back. But
moments alone together. So that's if you recommend for anybody in the sandwichers, a couple, try to make sure you have moments alone. If you can do moments alone daily, it's great. And then you might have a date night where it's a longer moment in time.
That's right. Yeah, that's the more intentional
And then the
stuff.
talking, and then the rule of 5, five things that you make sure that you kind of do for your partner. Because if you do that rule for her, I'm sure she does the rule back to you, making sure you respect her, she'll respect you back. Like Sue just seems very reciprocal.
Now, I also want to say, I mean, that does not mean it's a perfect. Are there arguments or disagreements? Of course, absolutely, right? There are.
It happens.
Right? But that foundation, right, and all of those other things, it's like the love bank, as they say. Once you're feeling that, a moment of disagreement or argument, then, we're able to bounce back, right? And
I love that. I love that. Okay. How do we take care of ourselves? So, Sue, how do you make sure you're taking care of yourself? What are some of the things you do for self-care?
Yeah. So I love to go to the gym and exercise.
Okay.
So I definitely make time for that. Mark respects that time also. So that's good. He's supportive of that. I love music. So I'll dance when I'm cleaning the house or put music on.
Okay, perfect.
And reading and maybe just taking time to watch, like, a puzzle or something. That's
like just taking moments alone for yourself to do something challenging for your brain.
Yep.
Okay. Mark, what do you do?
Yeah, I love music.
So you love watching her clean? I'm joking and listen to music.
Yeah.
That's what I love doing. Watching her clean and listen to music and dance around the house.
Yeah.
No, you join in, right?
What?
Let's set the record straight.
What's that?
When she's playing music and dancing, you're cleaning, you're doing the same.
At different times.
He does help to clean.
Yeah.
Okay, I was
Maybe not at the
just
same time.
Yeah.
Sue got me.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's checking to see if you help or not. That's all she was really checking to do.
He does.
Not
He helps
at the same
out.
time.
Okay, so you love your music.
Yeah, I love music. I love what I do for a living, so it's not really work for me. So when I'm working, that actually that fulfills me and it gives me joy.
Okay, so helping others with your coaching.
Helping others, and that's what it is. I think it's that helping part, right? But I may not be coaching per se or with clients. It's just there's back end things that I really love to do, right, and enjoy the creative side of me. But and I'm also like I would listen to my worship music. I also serious about my faith and stuff. So that kind of stuff I do.
Faith helps you through, and you know what? That's actually I had another guest on who said the same thing, and so that's awesome that that's something that you've recognized that you need to incorporate in your life.
Yes.
Okay, and it's one of the things too. It's a personal thing. So you don't make you're not going to force faith on somebody else.
No.
You have it for yourself and you store it.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything last thing?
In terms of sandwich years, I want to say, it's so cliche, this one day at a time, but it really is just one day at a time. I don't think I could have gotten through it unless it was just take a breath. When you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like it's a little too much, just pause, take a breath, and one day at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love that. That's one thing that we talk about a lot. And just cherish the moment. Be grateful. That's something we talk about a lot. Being grateful. Even for the little things. Be grateful. You're better off today than you were just yesterday. You learned something new today than you did, yesterday. Just being grateful for those moments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chantal.
For those of you, I think this was a wonderful episode. And I'm really fulfilled right now from the love that comes in this room and just recognizing the grateful, the love, the negotiating, the self-actualization, because both of you have yourselves, but you're in a relationship and that's another thing. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please comment below if you have any questions. We'll have them back again because we'll find out more what's happening with the empty nest because we still have a 15-year-old. Once we kick her out or him out, is it him or her?
Yeah.
It's a him or her?
Her, yeah.
It's a her. Once we kick her out, then you're empty nest. I don't know what you're going to do with that time. But we're no more kids. So,
Yes.
no more kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.